Hello there, and welcome back to Midlife Rises. I'm Cheryl. We had like really beautiful weather in the 70s. I mean, like really dragon heat weather. But today it's nippy. I wanted to do something outside, but it's a little nippy. I hope that you can hear me and that, I have this instrument to remove some of the outside noise, but I don't know how well it's going to work because it's quite breezy. But anyways, I did a quick run to Miami for the Easter holiday, and my plan was to do a religious piece before leaving. That was all wishful thinking because it didn't work. In no time at all, it was time to organize and get over there. It's been about 2 weeks now since the Easter holiday, but I still want to cover what it actually means and what sacrifice was made. So today I'd like to talk about fighting to keep your peace and your joy. Peace is having inner harmony. I love the sounds of the birds. It's so therapeutic to me. But having peace is just inner harmony. Joy, on the other hand, is feeling delightfulness, enthusiasm about things. Once you have your peace and your joy in place, no matter what the circumstance, it will not be interrupted. We're basically talking about having fruit of the Spirit. That's what we're talking about here, and that is the sacrifice that was made for us to be able to enjoy these moments. So basically, when you have your peace, joy will always be present regardless. That's why this stuff is so important. I know what peace is, so I don't play around. I do not let anything or anyone interfere with that. Someone told me once, Cheryl, you always seem to be so happy. Yeah, for the most part I am, because I've worked to have that in place. But I'll have my ups and downs, but I'm on that rock for sure, so that whatever takes place, because we would like to feel that we are, but none of us are really in control of anything that goes on in our lives. Just look at how things can just switch. I went out on vacation and basically came back into a little shit show. This is my point on when you are on the rock, you know that you don't have control of things, so you just have to surrender it. I have to kind of hurry because it's still quite early, but to me it seems like it's getting a little dark. It's nippy though, and it was not like that just up to yesterday. But the heat, man, it is brutal in the New York area. It's not like Miami for sure. But we do not have control of anything. We would like to think that we do, but in actuality, we don't. This is why you have to find your place. You have to understand what rock you should be standing on, because nothing is in your control. You've got to do your due diligence, of course, but there has to be a time where you need to surrender things and position yourself right below the storm and let the master of the universe handle things, because we are not dealing, and I've said it more than once, I'll say it again, we are not dealing with something that we can fight on. How can you fight with something that you're not seeing? You've got to be able to step back and let the one who sees all and knows all take care of things. That's going to be the healthy way to keep yourself balanced. I like being at peace. I like being happy. I just like being in high spirits. And that is a red flag for the enemy. This is why you have to understand when it's time to pass it on to the one that can handle it. And I don't know how else to say that. That's the best way I can describe it, because you can't fight with what you're not seeing. The enemy's ultimate goal, I hope you guys are not hearing sirens. I have my stuff on, but I don't know that it's going to block all of the sound out. But I've touched base with this, that the enemy, Satan, does not try to rob an empty home. He goes for the kill. And that analogy is basically someone like myself, who seems like they have no worry in the world and is always chipper and happy. I'm the perfect target. As simple as it sounds, that is the goal of the enemy, to just attack ones who seem to be too happy and chipper, joyful, having fruit of the Spirit. And basically, what he does is he puts his disciples in place, and that could be anyone. When I say anyone, I mean just that. This group can basically consist of just about anyone. A sister, a brother, a friend, a co-worker. I'm talking about anyone. Anyone is capable of being in devil energy. They will basically get picked up by the enemy when they are gullible. I'm saying just about anyone. But here's the kicker. When your peace and joy is coming from the source, that can't be really interfered with. You might get touched a little here and there, but it won't stick. It won't stick because it's within. It is not contingent on someone or something. And that is why I always try to point that out. Make sure that your balance is coming from the right source. Because when it is, you basically can't be touched. I mean, you might get interfered with a little. The other day I got pushed down. I was walking and I just, from nowhere, I just went diving and broke my front teeth and my hand. I'm saying my hand, but it's really my finger. So, I mean, we don't know why things happen. I had another spill. I didn't really hurt myself, but how do you do that like so close together? That one I'm not too suspicious of because I was looking. I just didn't put my foot right, like high enough to get up on the sidewalk. And funny enough, it was right on the block. So I don't know. That's kind of weird. But the sacrifice was made. And it is our duty to make sure that we get ours. That we keep what belongs to us, our peace and joy. The sacrifice was made for us to have our peace and joy, all of us. Just 2 weeks ago, we celebrated what was done. And so that is your right. And anyone who comes around in devil energy, my method might not be yours, right? You have to have your awareness in place and you have to know what you need to do and how to do it. But do something. Don't just let it happen. It is no game out here right now. And I don't mean for us to be suspicious of everyone and to be paranoid, but you got to pay attention. I mean, I don't know how else to say this. A few years ago, I saw up close and personal how we can switch up. And I'm not going to go into details on exactly what was done. My mother was still alive and I'm still in shock. But I saw things I heard and I can only feel for my mother because I'm also a mother, and to sit and hear some of the things that I'm aware that she had to experience in her condition, no one should have to deal with that. But I'm touching base with it because we can't just say, oh, this is a sister, this is a brother, that's my cousin, this. No, you have to look at the movements of the individual. That movie, Avatar, I like how they put it. They'll always say, I see you. And you have to be able to see, because what happens to us, we allow ourselves to get involved with different things, we get picked up by the enemy and we automatically get registered to be a disciple. And then crazy things start happening. I saw some things up close and personal. And I think about it, I still cry up to this day. Because she had onset dementia, but she was very alert. She was aware of everything that was taking place. One of the things that hurt my heart up to this very day is what she had to endure because of her condition that should not have happened. But I'm not going to go into details on it. What I will tell you is when you see, don't question and don't ignore. I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you about this stuff. I am not speculating. This is real life stuff that I saw with my own two eyes and heard with my own ears. You're looking at people who you've known all your life, and it's like, what happened to you? Because they have engaged in crazy things and they got picked up, they got drafted. You have to be able to see. You have to be able to discern, and don't say, this is my cousin, my friend. No. When someone is showing you what mode they're in, you cannot ignore it, because It's really not, it's not a good idea. And the way you can tell that the person is in devil energy, you're going to have competition. We talked about that just a couple of weeks ago. Competition, jealousy, and envy. You're going to be deceived because these are the qualities that the enemy operates under. And so, even though you're watching the person that you recognize, you don't know what's going on inside. You don't know what they have committed to and what condition they're moving in at this point in time. I'm not saying to start walking around and being suspicious of anyone. They will show you who they are. And when they do, you have no business ignoring it. Okay, I'm just saying. We have to be aware of the things that we do, the things we say. We have to be aware. Because if you're not willing to pay attention to things that are going on and you allow yourself to be drafted and start moving in devil energy where you're throwing rocks, hiding your hand, and just being mischievous. I'm not perfect, but I'm very conscious of the way I treat people. I deal with everyone at a level of respect. My humility is off the chain. I am never walking around like a peacock. I think highly of myself, but I don't have to discredit someone so that I can shine. That is not how I get my recognition. No, if you are doing it the right way, it comes naturally. You don't have to stomp on the other person to get that. It's called clout chasing. I've never been into that, and I try my best to stay away from people that are in that mode because it's not a good environment to be in no way, form, or fashion. When you are seeing things that you know for a fact is not right, don't ignore it and say, oh, I know this person is my sister, I know this is my brother. Don't do that. Try to look beyond that and see the person's spirit. We can try to shiny ourselves up on the outside, but what is your character like? Do you have integrity and humility? These are the items that people in devil energy, they don't have time with that. They are in manipulation mode where they can deceive. But if you know what to look for, if you know to really look at someone, because I have that skill, like I can see the potential in someone, and even though I'm thinking, oh no, they still have to do something to get me there. I am not ever going to prejudge anyone, ever, because I don't want that to be done to me. No matter what I've been through, I still deal with people on a consistent basis in that they have to prove who they are to me. They have to change what I know I'm seeing, and then I will move on it. Why I spend a lot of time by myself. I don't mind boarding a plane and going on vacation. I went on a cruise, my first cruise, I went alone. I was trying to just be on the ocean and have that tranquility, and it worked like a charm. There was a storm that happened. I didn't get to experience it, thank God. I stopped off in Jamaica and had a couple of those drinks that they had, so I slept through the whole thing. I heard the next day. I haven't been on a ship since, but I'm just trying to show you how when you have your peace and your joy in place, you can be absolutely alone and don't feel like you're by yourself ever. Try it. It's a nice thing to experience because people are really something else these days. They are just being consumed, and then it's very hard to work with them when they've been taken over. And I'm telling you what I know. Okay? We can have these moments of being envious and competing and stuff like that, but when it's on a constant basis, that person is in devil energy, and you need to make the proper adjustments so that you can keep your peace and your joy. You will not be able to survive in that kind of environment. I can't. I'm saying that you should not fight up with that because that stuff can affect your health depending on who you're dealing with. Because if you have friends, family members, even co-workers, your boss, anyone that are constantly in this mode, you've got to be careful with that stuff. Don't ignore what you're seeing and do what you have to do to maintain your peace and your joy. That is your right. That's what was fought for. And so that's why I don't play around with that. I do not. I will cut you in a second. If I can be consistent and respectful in how I deal with someone, I know that it is doable. I'm not asking anyone to do anything that I myself is not willing to do. That's why I'm so tough with stuff like that. My African boyfriend, ex-boyfriend used to say, you too rough, you're like man. Yes, I will. That masculine energy will come out when I see these things because I'm not making time for it. I'm at the stage in my life where I am not making time for people who cannot control themselves that way and allow themselves to be controlled. I'm just not going to do it. I've lost friends, co-workers, I've had to switch jobs, and that is the way I will continue to do it because I'm just not playing the game with anyone. I am sitting here and comfortably talking to you about this stuff because I've seen it. I've lived it. And that is why I go about things the way I do now. My mom had millions of friends when I was growing up, and I watched her. She was just cutting. She was just making her adjustments because you have to fight for your peace and your joy. And if anyone is coming in and trying to interfere with that, you are within your right to remove them from your path. You've got to choose. I said this in the last episode. You've got to choose your friends and fix your environment. The enemy is not going to be okay with you being chipper and happy, full of joy and peace. No, that's not something that he is going to be okay with. And he will put these people on your path. And it can be, again, anyone. If the person is able to talk and walk, yeah, they will be placed on your path to snatch away that disposition, to take away. He's not adding anything, peace and joy, that's not his format. So if you're missing peace, joy, happiness, fruit of the spirit, yeah, you're going the wrong route. Okay? It all goes with feelings. If you're able to feel, I think the first thing when you wake up in the morning, try to scan yourself and see how you feel. And if you're not feeling right, then start to take inventory and find out why and work to fix it ASAP. It's starting to get a little dark. The sun is going down, so I gotta hurry. Feel my voice changing too. You know, when I was studying psychology, a psychologist, I think his name was Pavlov, Russian psychologist, and his study were dogs. And what he was basically proving is that he could make this sound, and each time he will make that sound before he feeds the dog. And the experiment was he'll make that sound with the instrument and the dog will start salivating because he knows that when that sound comes, food follows. That is exactly how some people will salivate, waiting to destroy someone, waiting to see someone's downfall because they're fully controlled by the enemy and they feed off things like gossip and just being deceptive and just being in devil energy. So it is a must that you recognize when someone is in that mode and step back because joy, peace, happiness, it's not going to be there. It's just a realm of darkness. If you're looking for light, you need to turn away. And that's basically it. The list just goes on, and don't think for a minute that people who know your style and have known you all their lives will stand up for you. It depends. It really depends, and that's how you can tell who is who. But it's important to just pay attention. That's all you got to do. Just have your discernment in place, your awareness, your intuition, and just know what rock you should be standing on. Because it's serious out here. I mean, there's no simple way to put it. As we go further and further in our midlife years, you get to build certain skills. It's called wisdom, and you have to use it. If you don't build on that, you would really be out here like a child, and it's dangerous doing that because half the times you're not seeing what you're looking at. That's a cover. You have to develop the skills, and that's why I think being like growing up on the streets, which I've been out there for many, many years. I used to go out to the city for school, and 14, 15, that's what I was doing. Plus, I used to model. Most of my gigs would be in the city and stuff. And, I was out there. So I'm experienced. And I'm older now too, so I'm even more experienced because when things happen to you, when you have certain experiences, you're supposed to learn from them. If you're not learning from your experiences, that's not good. How are you building? Like, how are you learning? How are you protecting yourself? You have to build your wisdom, and it comes with years of experience. If it's not building, then there's a block somewhere, and you've gotta look at that. Overall, understand what rock you should be standing on and know who's running things, because it's not you. He's alive, folks. And he made the sacrifice for us to eat, drink, and live. And do it right. The right way. That's the key thing here. To do it the right way. Again, learn to recognize the disciples of the enemy and don't question what you're being shown. Just go with the flow. Keep the heart space clean regardless of what now. That's another topic in itself. We'll save that for next time. Hope you had a great Easter. I did. I came back into a little mess, but trying to adjust to things, because that's what I do. I know what rock I'm standing on, and I can confidently say that it's not easy, but we're not in control. And what's nice about this whole thing is when you understand that you're not in control, you'll actually see whatever you can't do, he will put people in place to help you. That's the other good thing, is when you're blessed, if you can't handle or take care of something, he will actually put someone on your path to offer assistance. So all around, it's a good idea to know who's in charge. Okay, let me organize and get back upstairs before I get sick out here, because it was just like 80 degrees almost yesterday, and now it feels like it's 60. The breeze kind of stopped, but it's bleaky. So again, I hope you all are doing well. Thanks for joining me on this, and I hope you're able to get something from it. We'll talk about the heart space on the next episode. In the meantime, stay connected, and we will see you next time. Okay? You take care now. Bye.